Good morning, afternoon, whenever it is, not legal advice. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, show pets and animals. Take it to the zoo. By the way, if you want to take the videos to the zoo, that's good too. Don't rely upon anything that's said. I'm going to talk a little bit about MMTLP, Alpine, and Forbes, amongst other things. And before we get started, of course, did you hear about the thief who fell and broke his leg in wet cement? He became a hardened criminal. Uh, did you hear about the fact that the case against the donut thief is full of holes? And before I move on, the best advantage of a criminal, obviously, liability. Anyway, I wanted to talk first a little bit about MMTLP. So put out a couple of tweets recently. Just wanted to follow up. So my impression of where we're at on MMTLP is that there is progress being made. And I get that from people telling me that there's progress being made. I also, and I posted a couple tweets, and so this is kind of a couple of interesting pieces of information. I do believe that there is a criminal investigation of TradeStation. I believe that they're in a difficult position. That's perhaps why they came out with the information they came out. It may have been in response to a criminal investigation, or it may have been in response to anticipation of a criminal investigation. So I found that interesting. We've been looking for whistleblowers. If in fact TradeStation is coming clean, then they may in fact be comparable to a whistleblower. And I have heard, by the way, haven't been able to verify it, that perhaps there is some other whistleblower out there. Obviously, I wouldn't disclose a name even if I know, but I don't know. But I've heard to the effect that there may be somebody out there who's cooperating from some brokerage. I don't know which brokerage. But if I were a brokerage, that would cause me a concern. And perhaps maybe TradeStation was aware of the fact there was a whistleblower out there. Maybe the whistleblower was from TradeStation, perhaps. We don't know. But that's something to keep in mind. I do know also, at least, I know, I don't have any firsthand information about anything. So I'm not in contact with FINRA, the SEC, or any of those people. I'm not in direct contact with anybody at NextBridge either. So that's to give you the box. But I do receive information from various sources. Some of it I can't talk about because it might be attorney-client privilege. So if there's an attorney-client relationship, whether I wanted to talk about something or not, that's the paramount obligation of attorney not to disclose confidential information. So if it's something that's subject to attorney-client privilege, I can't talk about it even if I wanted to. And often I will kind of throw out, not often, but a few times I've thrown out little hints about things, trying to suggest and try to make people feel a little more comfort. The only time I'm sending out information like that is for that reason. I'm trying to maybe make people feel a little more optimistic because I have information. It's not that I'm making up information. So secondarily, my second third-hand information is that FINRA was very interested in the NextBridge PR, especially the part about the share totals, the short share totals. And obviously, either they wanted the information, the specific information, or they wanted whatever they could get out of that. So in their FAQ, probably the third one, maybe the fourth one's coming out, it keeps on growing and changing. But in that FAQ, I think they state that there's about 2.65 million naked shorts that were carried over into NextBridge. The PR from NextBridge suggests that there's substantially more. I've heard about this for many months, And my understanding is there are substantially more. How many more? I think millions more, that in terms of short shares that may have approached NextBridge to buy the shares, and I don't believe they've always disclosed who they were. So there may have been parties who approached NextBridge to purchase shares to cover, but didn't disclose who they were representing, probably because they didn't want the liability disclosed. But obviously it's super important and essential that we understand the approach, that it's substantially more than the shares that FINRA has stated, and it probably puts them in an awkward position. I hope it's being reported to Congress, but I know that, taken along with the criminal investigation, I think has added, and again, I don't know that firsthand, and I don't believe it's, well, I won't say that. But anyway, I think both those things are pushing forward. I know shareholders, large shareholders of MMTLP, NextBridge, have sudden enthusiasm and a positive feeling. So I noted that things seem to have changed somewhat, a bit in attitude. And again, the two things that came out, the criminal investigation and FINRA's response to the short count, were two interesting sequences. Again, I hope that someone in Congress is told about this so the subpoena can issue to other brokerages. And hopefully other brokerages will be encouraged, because I'm sure TradeStation is trying to get off easy. So maybe other, and I'm sure they're going to blow the whistle on others. So hopefully others will come out, blow the whistle on the others. And obviously I'm involved in Fidelity. So any whistleblowers out there who want to go after Fidelity, please call me. Happy to help you, keep you in confidence. So that's MMTLP and what's going on about that. Forbes. So Forbes has been publishing a bunch of articles defaming all MMTLP shareholders and the like. It seems to be slanderous. They're accusing them, I think, of smoking opium, being morons, and of losing everything. I think that was the last one I had. Now, who? Let's assume that they're correct, that all the MMTLP crowd made a mistake. But who would kick somebody when they were down? What kind of scumbag are these people from Forbes that, notwithstanding whatever happened, that they're going after a bunch of retail traders who have nothing against Forbes? They did nothing to Forbes. So why do these why does Forbes go after retail traders and slander them? And for example, I've thought about that. Am I going to go after? I thought about, am I going to file a lawsuit, just in case anybody from Forbes or Brandon's out there? You can't slander people. You can't libel people. And so at some point in time, you're going to get sued for it. So I've thought about it. I discussed it with somebody. I don't know if I'm going to go after Forbes, but I'm certainly considering it for their last publication. I'm being generous in publication. Their last piece of garbage they filed. And I was thinking, why are they filing this? Besides, they're heartless scumbags who don't care about people. Okay, that's part of it. But it's owned by a company called Integrated Whale Media Investments, an investment company. They've tried to sell it, Forbes, because Forbes sucks, doesn't make very much money. So they've tried to sell it for multiple times. The sales have not gone through. The last one was to Austin Russell, who's the founder of Luminar, which is a LiDAR company to be used on electric vehicles for autonomous driving. But that deal fell through also. But Forbes makes apparently very little money. And Integrated Whale Media Investments is in the investment business. So I thought, and they've been accused. I saw an article in 2017 which accused them of meddling in the editorial content of Forbes. So my guess, and until I'm proven otherwise, and I invite anybody from Forbes to come on, We'll do a live stream. You could say whatever you want. I'll question you, of course, but you can come on and say whatever you want. But I have to presume that Integrated Whale Media Investments is running this show so that they are targeting MMTLP, and certainly are aware of that. Perhaps they're big shorters. They are based in Hong Kong. They seem to have or some people accuse them of having a anti-American bias. So is it that they are targeting investors in the United States to benefit themselves financially? And this has nothing to do with editorial, but purely financial, and purely to raise uh, the level of their pocketbooks. So I don't know about that, but I looked. And Integrated Whale Media Investments, if you want to come on and explain yourself why you're targeting people that have been harmed, notwithstanding the circumstances, please come and explain yourself. And if you're not a shorter, if you're not competing with retail, please come forward and deny that also. And Brandon, you've refused to testify, at least in deposition, although I'm going to ask, just so we're clear, I'm going to ask the arbitration panel, who I'm not a big fan of, to issue a subpoena to have you subpoenaed for trial anyway. So I hope to see you soon anyway. But why don't you volunteer to come forward and come on my live stream and present your position? If you believe that all the MMTLP crowd are smoking hopium, come on and present your evidence. And don't be afraid. I'll be nice. I promise not to harm you. If you want like a Diet Coke, I'll get you one. But don't be a scumbag and hide. Don't be a scumbag and hide like a cockroach, like you are to this point in time. So that's my Forbes reference. I'm really concerned about their intentions. Certainly, are not uh, calling it journalism is nonsense. I think it's just running support for the investment wing of Integrated Whale Media Investments until I hear otherwise, who apparently interfere with the editorial comment of Forbes anyway. My arbitration is ongoing. Um, the last ruling was the director of FINRA arbitration denied my most recent request to get rid of the arbiters. So I've filed numerous requests to get rid of the arbiters. All have been denied, but I made a record, and the federal court has my report. And I've outstanding discovery request. I've requested a bunch of documents and answers to interrogatories from Fidelity. They have not to this point in time, so I will be filing a motion to compel. They also indicated, because we signed a protective order, so we have an order in place that allows both sides to disclose confidential documents to the other side. They can't disclose it to anybody else, but it permits the disclosure. So starting, I think, in November 21, if I recall, they said that as soon as the protective order was in place, they would provide the documents. They reiterated that, I think, in December. The order was issued about a week ago. They said it again. They were going to send it. They have not as of today. I don't believe they will, or, either they will or they won't. But I intend to file a motion again with the panel for their failure to produce documents and answer discovery, and we will see where that goes. I will keep you apprised. I will file it either today or tomorrow. I'll get opposition, etc., and we'll go from there. So that's the arbitration status of that. Again, the arbitration hearing date is June. And I hope there's a bunch of cases that come down in the meantime that we might be able to use. And if anybody has any special desire, special knowledge related to Fidelity that they think they would be able to contribute in an arbitration, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to speak to anybody about that, especially if it's helpful. So that's the status of the arbitration. I will be filing another motion today. Actually, it's going to be two motions because one's for the interrogatories, one's for the request production of documents. I'll be sending out another request to the other Fidelity scumbags to ask them for the documents that they promised to send, and I will keep you apprised of that also. And I'm going to keep on pressing on that, obviously, without hesitation. Again, I haven't decided if I'm going to sue Forbes, but it's out there, so we throw it out. And last but not least, we have the Alpine Gtii that's set for hearing in the Court of Appeal on the 8th of February, so it's coming up. The ruling won't come out that time. And again, so Alpine is the prime broker for Gtii, allegedly, purportedly shorted beyond belief. They have been penalized for various types of misconduct since 1984, including violations of the Bank Secrecy Act, misappropriation, stealing, etc. There's an appeal pending where they're trying to stop the current attempt by FINRA to get rid of them. And that hearing in the Court of Appeal is on the 8th. I hope that the Court of Appeal takes a very narrow view, looks at what is being sought, and that's the injunction, and agrees with the district court against Alpine and denies the appeal. That's my hope. And I think if they deny the appeal, that will be a preview of what the courts think about Alpine. Alpine are scumbags. There's no way around it. I've kind of relayed it the number of times they've been convicted or admitted to misconduct. Their stint with a convicted sex offender, Bank Secrecy Act violations, 36,000 violations of cease and desist order, etc. So we need them out. Again, FINRA and the SEC get no credit because they go into court tomorrow and take care of this. But the hearing's on the 8th. I do hope the Court of Appeal takes into account the bad faith conduct of Alpine. And if in fact they rule against Alpine, Alpine's bad faith conduct, I believe, will come and be a part of that ruling. Because again, if you act in bad faith, you're not entitled to an equitable remedy, to an injunction, etc. And they are the poster boys for acting in bad faith. So that's Alpine. As I think that's all I want to say, other than the fact of what do you call a dinosaur who can't help but steal? Of course, you call him a kleptosaurus. Anyway, to all of you out there, I hope that brought you some current information. If you have answers or questions to any of those I brought up, please call me, DM me, let me know. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. If anything didn't make sense, please ask questions. Anyway, hope everybody's well. Take care, be well. I will put out another one when I have something else to say. Anyway, take care.